You are listening to the show that is all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And this week we talked a lot with folks that have advice, information, and guidance for folks starting a business, but also people that have been in business for a while. Our next guest is somebody that knows a thing or two about this. We're talking with Talia Mashiach, the founder of Eved. Talia, thanks for joining us on Get Down to Business.
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. So Talia, tell us the story of your business, of Eved, and how you got started.
Sure. Well, first of all, I just want to start. Eved is a B2B software platform that enables companies to be able to get complete data visibility into their meeting and event spend by automating the workflow. And I can tell you a little bit about how we started. I actually knew nothing about meetings and events, and I really was passionate as an entrepreneur about technology, automation, and automation of workflow. And my husband was actually a musician and provided entertainment during corporate events. And so at one point he said, hey, let's try and expand the band business and to the hotels. And he asked me to come with him for a meeting. And I joined him and was exposed a little bit to what the opportunities were in this. It's over a $500 billion space that is really manually still done with spreadsheets and emails and whatnot, whereas really a lot of the other big spend categories within corporations are automated at this point and use the internet, especially, if you think of travel, that's come a really long way in the last number of years. And events, though, which still kind of fits for corporations under travel, is really still way behind. So we're really looking to automate that and bring that forward.
Well, you sure have touched on an interesting niche. So we're talking with Talia Mashiach, the founder of Eved, as Talia just said, a platform for businesses and event management, which is absolutely fascinating. So Talia, I've read first of all a lot about your business in cranes and the industry of event management is sort of exploding, and there's a lot of conversation about that. Where do you think it's going with the technology that you've been developing and the other options and solutions that are out there?
Well, if you think about what a event is, especially for corporations, it is really a marketing channel to really bring people together, whether it's external and bringing customers together, or whether it's internal and it's bringing employees together. And I think in this ever-changing digital world that we live in, where people are working in remote places and, the ways that we are being marketed to are very digital, that the human connection is going to be ever more powerful as we continue to grow. And if you think about kind of the best ways to be able to get your message across, you're to be able to have, if you think of an event, whether it's 24 hours or it's 3 days, you literally have 100% attention of your audience for that period of time to be able to deliver that content and that message. And there's really nothing more powerful, I think, than the human connection, and I think that will grow. So I believe that live events are going to really take be the number one channel of marketing for these large corporations by 2020. But if you look at how that category is managed, that marketing category, whether internal or external, in comparison to some of their other channels, web or other campaigns, it's so far behind. There's really not the visibility that's needed into the event spend in order to be strategic around it. So I think that the technologies like we're using and others is really going to allow companies to actually start managing the space, to be able to have data into the space and start putting strategies so that they are able to take advantage of this really ever-growing and really important channel to be able to achieve their business objectives.
That makes sense. So, Talia, that's interesting insight. Even with all the technology which you're embracing through Eved, you believe that by 2020, events will continue and will take the lead. And as you said, it captures people's attention. There's nothing quite like events and the opportunities that events have in the world of B2B, which is exciting. So, Talia, is your focus primarily on the Chicagoland area, or are you dealing with areas around the country as well?
So we're actually global. So corporations, we think of some of our customers, like Dell and some of our other customers, they are global organizations that have to operate all over the world, and their suppliers operate all over the world. So we actually had to be right away a global company and really provide the software, because what's unique about our software is not only do we provide this platform to the corporation to be able to manage and have the data visibility in their workflow, but actually all of the suppliers that they work with come onto the platform to be able to interact with them. So if they're doing events, in Hawaii, if they're doing events in Russia, all of the suppliers that are working with that company are actually on our platform and interacting and connecting and invoicing and whatnot with. So really we had to tackle that right away, which is definitely challenging.
Well, the growth of Eved is fascinating and fantastic, and we're excited and proud that Eved is calls Chicago home, and Chicago is a great home for small businesses and success stories like yours, Talia Mashiach from Eved. So thank you for joining us. Talia, how can people learn more to find out more about your growth and the development of Eved? How can people contact you?
Okay, well, we are on the line at eved.com, and I encourage, we're at about 200 million this year in commerce that's flowed through Eved. So I suggest to suppliers that provide any kind of services, from restaurants to hotels to local tour companies that provide services for events, that they go online and join our marketplace so that
check out Eved.com. Eved.com, a fantastic homegrown Chicago story. Let's get down to business and talk some more entrepreneurial successes after the break.